Aloha, and welcome to Great Chefs of Hawaii. Come join us for a taste of paradise as the island's finest chefs explore Pacific Rim cuisine.
Amy Ferguson-Ota is a native Texan and in fact helped open Stephen Pyle's Baby Ruth in Dallas. At the time of taping, she was executive chef at the Ritz-Carlton on the Big Island, the first woman to hold that position in the company. Her entree is a family favorite, crisp Thai-style chicken. A marinade for the chicken starts with grated ginger.
To that, I'm going to add lemongrass. Lemongrass is very common here in Hawaii. Most of us grow it in our own yards. It's very easy to grow. It grows like a weed. You start it off with a root, and before you know it, you have a large bush. So peeling away the exterior, because it won't always look beautiful, and it has very long green leaves that are somewhat sharp, just peel it down to the tender part of the root. Loosen it up some, and peel it. For those of you that have longer fingernails, you won't have much of a problem. So, cut it down. You see it can be very, very tough. You have to make certain that you don't get the hardest part of it. You want the tender part. You can still use this portion of the lemongrass to cook with rice and to infuse in broths. It's a wonderful flavoring. So just cut off the hard part. Then you're going to find yourself stripping through it with a sharp knife and hold it very stationary. Just score it. I found that is the easiest way to cut or to chop lemongrass. I don't like to throw it in a blender or a food processor because it makes it very, very stringy.
Also, chopped garlic.
And just roughly chopped. I'm going to add green onion, chopped cilantro. Love cilantro, lots of Chinese parsley, or cilantro as we called it in Texas. And then I have a mixture of the rice flour, very fine rice flour that you'll find a lot in Vietnamese cooking. And then a little bit of cornstarch. Adds to the crispiness. Egg whites. And then we have a little kosher salt. Here in Hawaii, we like to use Hawaiian salt. Use a little bit of kosher as well. And then tipperose, the fish sauce. And this is just made out of fermented anchovies or other various types of little fish. And all of this just gets mixed up, and the chicken is marinated in it, and it's allowed to sit overnight, so it's well seasoned. And we saute it on a very slow heat. We're just going to slice it. That's a little supreme. I never recommend folding that under and trying to cook it thick because it makes such a thick piece of chicken. It takes a little longer to cook, and then you tend to dry out a portion of it. So,
The breasts are sliced before presentation.
and don't be alarmed if it tends to crack off a little bit. That's what happens.
The chicken is served with rice noodles and fresh greens.
Okay. One thing I like to do at home, I like to serve it with salads and the rice noodles, as well as a Thai fish sauce that's seasoned with chili pepper. And it's just it's a very nice marinade that you can use on the noodles as well as on the lettuce. But one of my favorite ways of eating this dish is to use rice paper that you traditionally find either on Thai spring rolls that have been fried or in a Vietnamese restaurant. Just put a few pieces of the chicken in here, some of the noodles, rice noodles. These are called pho. They're Vietnamese rice noodles. There's so many varieties of noodles. You could use any kind of a rice vermicelli noodle. A little bit of a delicate lettuce, any herb that you like. I like mint and basil and cilantro. I like it all in the dish. And I just squeeze it. And from time to time I use cucumber and carrot in here as well. The key to making a successful summer roll is actually the texture of the rice paper. So These are starting to dry out a little bit, so I'm going to show you what happens when they do. Just moisten them up a little bit. Take another piece of chicken. And since I'm using smaller ones, I'm going to cut this lengthways. Some herbs. Lettuce. Noodles. Piece of the crust that fell off. Bundle it. Just roll tight, because this is quite elastic. You'd be surprised. And if you put the herb on the outside, it looks much nicer. This is basically how I would serve this dish at home and for my family, serving it with the Thai fish sauce.